Good afternoon, Sooner fans. Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Hey, before we get going with this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, join up. Also, go to the FanStop, fanstop.com. Check them out. When you get there, use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months if you sign up for the subscription monthly shirt. Go do it. Officially licensed shirt. Great products, great designs. Go be a part of it. Check them out, fanstop.com. And another commitment for Oklahoma football for the 25 class, and this is a big one. CJ Nickson, a lot of people say athlete. He's going to play edge at Oklahoma, out of Weatherford, Oklahoma, 4-star. And this commitment moves OU back to number 5 overall in the recruiting rankings, which is massive. It's a huge get for Oklahoma, Miguel Chavis.
Yeah, Oklahoma able to leapfrog Clemson and Auburn once again for a top 5 spot in the class with CJ Nickson, listed as by some of the sites an athlete, going to play edge, as you mentioned, at Oklahoma. The athlete title comes from his ability to play tight end, both sides of the ball, football. Also, a very talented basketball player that's had quite a few offers from the area. Maybe Brody Lusk from OU Insider saying that there's a possibility for him to play basketball at OU as well. So maybe a big time get for Porter Moser on the hardwood as well. But look at the 247 composite ratings. He's number 3 overall player in the country, a top 150 prospect in 13th at his position as edge. So a very big get for Miguel Chavis and the Sooners. And another in-state guy, it just seems like that's kind of been the theme of this 25 class. They're landing pretty much everybody that they can at that in-state spot. A very talented Oklahoma class in 2025. And that has been a priority for the entire Oklahoma coaching staff this cycle.
Yeah, it's huge for Oklahoma to get Oklahoma guys, especially the top ones from each position, which is what they've been doing under Brent Venables, really. I mean, you could look at it. He's kind of brought that back because I think it left for a while as far as getting Oklahoma kids and getting the best ones at each position, and he's doing that. You mentioned tight end, and I mean, he's played it in high school. He's a pure athlete, and I think what he does for the edge room and for the edge men with Miguel Chavis is he kind of comes in with the prototypical, I would say, what Chavis is looking for on edge rushers. Very athletic, very, I would say, twitchy, very the body type fits what Chavis is trying to do when you look at what he's recruited the last few years. I mean, I think this is a huge addition. And, you know, you heard his top 2, OU OSU. Absolutely a guy you can't let get to Stillwater. I mean, you got to get him to Norman, and they did. So they did exactly what they needed to do here. And you mentioned the 2-sport athlete. Very well could play, as Brody said, a spot there on Porter Moser's team. And he's really good at basketball. So anybody that can play basketball and also play edge, freak athlete.
Yeah, 6'5", 220. I mean, you look at his stats, offensively, averaging 17 yards a catch, 5 touchdowns, 577 total yards receiving. Defensively, 54 tackles, 5 TFLs, a sack, 5 pass breakups. Big kid, able to use his length, get his hands up for the pass breakups. That's something to watch there. Really something that you want your edges able to do, to get their hands free, to be able to bat down balls. And I think kind of that basketball background with Nickson is going to help there a lot. I mean, he has hops, very talented basketball player, going to be rushing the passer. And I mean, he's going to be jumping up for some batted balls. And I think that's something you're going to see quite a bit from Nickson.
Yeah. And, you know, he mentioned, I think I saw a quote on Twitter about his relationship with Miguel Chavis and how Miguel Chavis has been just pivotal in this recruitment. And even to the point where they don't talk football a lot. I mean, all the time. It's just not all football. It's other stuff. And I think once again, you see the relational part of Miguel Chavis and the way he recruits pay off in this recruitment. You know, Miguel Chavis is a guy that can recruit with the best of them. And I think part of the reason why is he's very relatable to these high school players. Very relatable, even though it's not like he's just fresh out of high school or college himself, but he has a way about him that connects with those players and these players in this generation. Not all people can do it. Not all edge defensive line coaches can do what he does in recruiting. And you've heard multiple players say it, how it's just his personality. It's just the way he talks with us. I just think this is proving to be, once again, when Brent Venables, it was his first hire, I believe, was Miguel Chavis. And you're seeing big time dividends of why. And he continues to recruit really well. And this is another guy that I think is going to have a great career in Oklahoma.
Yeah. You look at the defensive line between Miguel Chavis, Todd Bates, the way that they recruit, they're extremely relational. Their families are very involved in everything. You'll see the defensive ends, defensive linemen go into one of their houses for a family dinner with their wife and kids involved in that. You mentioned Chavis, his ability to connect with these younger guys. I mean, really the Oklahoma kids as well. Last year, Danny Okoye, very talented edge. You also have Alex Shieldknight from Wagner, who committed last year for this 25 class. And then Nickson, now the third defensive end from Oklahoma to commit. The kind of just his approach to it, where it's not, you mentioned it, it's not just about football. It's about getting to know the player off the field. I know had Danny Okoye on here last summer. He was talking about just all of the kind of things that Chavis would do, talking to him, of showing up to his games on a Friday night when he has an 11 a.m. kick. I mean, that's not a common thing for a coach to do. Usually you have an 11 a.m. game. The next day you're kind of chilling out on the recruiting trail, not doing too much because you have to prep for a game that following morning. But Chavis always taking that extra step to build a relationship with these guys that's way more than just football.
Yeah, and you know, another defensive end from Oklahoma right now, currently, Ethan Downs, also from the Weatherford area there. And Hunter, CJ Nickson, do you think, I mean, because Ethan Downs played early in his career, is CJ Nickson a guy you think coming in 2025 will get real early playing time?
I think it's a possibility for him to rotate in. It's just, you look at how it was for Ethan Downs, and then you look at now how it is for those 24 kids, the 25 kids in that defensive end room specifically. There's a lot more talent in there than there was, 4 years ago for Ethan Downs. It's a lot different room. I mean, Danny Okoye, again, we're talking about him, might not even him rotating in at most for 2024 for Oklahoma. Just the talent that they've had, their ability, they've been able to stack classes on this defensive line. I mean, 24, you had the power line, which is considered by many to be the best defensive line class that Oklahoma has landed. You look at what Oklahoma's landing right now in the defensive line. They haven't gotten a 5-star yet. They don't have a David Stone-esque player, but between Kamori Moore, Shieldknight, Nickson, it's a very talented class on that front four, and they're still looking to add a few more names to the mix as the recruiting process continues.
Yeah, more to come for the Oklahoma on the defensive line, I believe, in 2025. And hey, if he were to play two sports, football and basketball, I'd have to look, but I don't know if there's been another player play football and basketball at Oklahoma. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Dean Blevins.
Okay, Dean Blevins. You have to go way back.
It's a long time. That is one to monitor there. I mean, it's so difficult basketball, baseball is a little bit more manageable because the seasons don't cross as much. Basketball, your season really starts the last week of October, first week in November. You're all the way through December. With football, I mean, now with the playoff, if you're in the playoff, you're playing possibly multiple games in December. That's not a sport you can really juggle the two in season. You're going to be missing that first half of the season, the entire non-conference slate, and part of the first few conference slates, depending on if your football team is playing for possibly a national championship.
Yeah, I think it would be very difficult with the way the season's crossed, but we'll see. You never know. So there it is, everybody. CJ Nickson committed to Oklahoma, edge, 4-star, great addition for Miguel Chavis and Oklahoma Sooners. Hey, Thanks for watching the video, as always. Make sure you subscribe. Check out the FanStop as well, fanstop.com. We appreciate you guys watching. We'll talk to you next time.